You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I'm your host, Stephanie O'Day. What if I told you that you could truly have the life of your dreams, the life you've always wanted, one filled with abundance, joy, and a sense of purpose? It's absolutely possible, and I see it each and every day with my coaching clients. It all starts with learning how to slow down. You deserve to live the life you've always dreamt about. Let's get started. So if you're a fan of the podcast, you're going to absolutely love the book. Slow Living, Cultivating a Life of Purpose in a Hustle-Driven World is now available wherever books are sold. Buy it for yourself, your children, your friends, and your neighbors. You can get all the juicy details at stephanieoday.com/slow living book. Trust me, this is hands down the best $20 you'll ever spend. Hi there, Slow Down Society. Steph here, and welcome to another edition of the Slow Living Podcast. We are on episode 164, and today we are going to talk about recovering from people pleasing. And are you a people pleaser? So in my everyday role, I am a people pleaser, or I play the role of being a people pleaser. And that's because I am in a customer satisfaction role. I do customer servicing all day long as my day job. And then also through my online email work and answering readers' questions, often I am in a customer service role. And so I am, quote unquote, trying to please someone else. But when someone says they're a people pleaser, there's a big difference between doing your job and being a customer service agent, and then also you not taking it personally and not feeling like you failed if you can't actually please someone else. And that's the difference. That's the difference between being a people pleaser in a way that is somewhat toxic and some way that's keeping you from meeting your own personal and professional goals because you are wrapping your self-worth up in someone else's ideas or ideals. And so you then are putting your own needs and wants and goals and ambitions and dreams on hold because you are so busy trying to help someone else get their needs and wants met. And that's the difference. That's really paying attention to that. If my kids are coming home, and I'm just going to use this as a for instancing, if they're coming home and they had a bad day at school and they aren't in the best of moods and they're maybe actually breaking some of our house rules and they're leaving their backpack in a flumpity heap at the front door and they're stomping around and they're kind of in a bad mood. And while I know they broke maybe some house rules of leaving stuff by the front door and stomping around and maybe being a little too rough on doors and cabinets, I can look at it as they're lashing out and it's something that I need to fix or correct. Or I can have empathy right then and there in the moment and decide. I am deciding then. So I still have the control and the quote unquote power. I can decide to help them self-regulate by, hey, you're having a hard day here. Why don't you go wash your hands, take a load off, go upstairs. I'll bring you some tea. I'll bring you a snack. And we'll get through whatever it is you're getting through. We will get through it together, and I will help you overcome whatever this bad day is that you had. So to some people, maybe it looks like I'm sacrificing my own needs and wants and sacrificing myself and my care um, and the house rules in order to help in this situation. And I really want to point out, no, I think all parents at all times get to decide in the moment what's a big deal and what's not a big deal. Do my kids know that they shouldn't dump all their stuff the second they walk in the house? Yes. Is it worth it right then and there to call them out on it and try and get them to perform? No, no. So just that's something I want to pay attention to. I am not saying that all people pleasing, all caregiving, all caretaking is wrong because you're putting someone else's needs in front of yours right then and there. No, 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 no. What I'm talking about is people pleasing to the point where you're actually rejecting yourself, when you're actively, maybe not on purpose. Maybe this is on an unconscious level and you're not even realizing you're doing it. But it could be sometimes that you're suppressing your own needs and wants and boundaries in order to devote yourself fully to someone else or someone else's wants or needs or goals. That's really what the differentiation is. And sometimes you can do this in this sort of like disassociative way that you don't even realize that you're doing it. And that's because you're so far down the path that you forgot who you are. You forgot your own dreams and wants and needs. And so that's really something that is great to know about yourself. If I ask you, hey, what do you want out of life? And you don't know how to answer because your answer is, oh, I want my kids to make the track team, or I'm trying to get my husband's new business underfoot or off the foot or off the ground. I don't know, whatever that phrase is. That's you sacrificing yourself for someone else. And that is over the top, not okay people pleasing. When you don't even know how to answer who you are anymore, what your hobbies are, what your whims and your wants and your the things that light up your eyes because you're too busy being subservient to someone else or constantly in like cleanup mode. So there's kind of the martyr mom syndrome that people talk about, where you are just in such autopilot that all you're doing all day long is tending to the needs and wants of other people. And you can't answer that question of who am I? What are my dreams? Where am I going? That's when you start from the very beginning. So how do you get over people pleasing? You get over people pleasing by acknowledging that you're doing this, by paying attention. My best suggestion would be to start to pay yourself first. Download the daily journaling worksheet. I know. I sound like a broken record, yet many people have not downloaded the daily journaling worksheet. So you can find that at stephanieodea.com/daily, DAILY. The very first question is, how do you want to feel today? Chances are you don't want to feel like a doormat. Chances are you don't want to feel like a housekeeper or a nanny or someone's personal assistant. Chances are maybe you want to feel proud. Maybe you want to feel confident. Maybe you want to feel fulfilled. Maybe you want to feel strong. And then from there, the questions are, okay, great. How will you go about achieving that today? And that's how you come up with your to-do list. So many of us right now are creating to-do lists that we don't even really actually want to do. We're doing them out of obligation, or we're doing them because some women's health article told us we should be doing it. So I like to really kind of dive in, and when people are telling me what is on their to-do list or what they're tracking in their bullet journal, and they're kind of deciding that that's how they're successful, or that's how they're identifying themselves. And if they didn't hit their daily ounce goal for drinking water, or if they didn't meet their daily step count that they wrote out in their bullet journal, they've failed. And so they are essentially performing and people pleasing this journaling uh, exercise in their bullet journal. And I don't want you to do that. I really don't. I want you to love yourself unconditionally right now, right here, warts and all. You are already worthy. You are already amazing. You don't need gold stars from anybody else. You don't need to bend over backwards to please anyone else. And I'll tell you, I unconditionally think you are amazing and wonderful. And I am super proud of you just for spending time listening to this, for downloading the worksheet, for spending 10 minutes for yourself. You have done the hard work already. So when you start practicing putting your own needs first, and again, I suggest doing it first thing in the morning so there aren't other variables around that you can't control, such as people. You might feel sometimes a little weird and a little awkward and maybe a little selfish. And the first time you say no to someone who says, "Hey, can you pick up my kids for me from school today? I'm running late." But you don't want to pick up their kids from school. And you say, "No, I'm sorry. I'm not able to do that today." You might feel really awkward. You might feel really uncomfortable. You might think, "Oh, now so and so is not going to like me anymore, or so and so is not going to want to be my friend anymore." No, that's you honoring yourself and honoring your bandwidth and protecting your boundaries. If picking up someone else's kid here and there isn't an issue, and you like doing it, and you also know that when you do that, that means if you ever need to play that card and have that person pick up your kid, it's fine. It's a two-way street. Great. But if you're feeling taken advantage of, if you're feeling like someone is always kind of pushing the envelope or asking for more and more of you, and you are in turn neglecting yourself, neglecting your own family, and you're starting to feel really resentful and burnt out and worn out and overwhelmed, that is so important. And that is when you say, "Nope, sorry, can't do that today." And then you turn the phone off, you silence the phone, you mute the notifications. You have protected your boundary, and no means no. And you do not need to feel weird and awkward and uncomfortable about that. So, what if you are feeling weird and awkward and uncomfortable about that? What do? Journal it, pay attention to it, sit with it. Maybe it means just sitting and writing or saying out loud, "I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now. I protected my boundary and I feel awkward. I don't like this feeling. My stomach feels nauseous. My shoulders feel tense. I don't like this feeling in my body. I don't like this feeling in my body." And then don't do anything. Sit. If you need to actively do something, ask Siri to set a timer for you for 5 minutes and sit with that feeling, and then look around. Is the world still spinning? Are there still clouds in the sky? Are there still birds? Yes, the world did not stop because you protected a boundary. The uncomfortable feeling you're having is just a feeling. And the more comfortable you get with being uncomfortable, the stronger that muscle becomes, and you become resilient, and you become that kind of person, that Teflon person where everything just kind of slides off, and you're no longer judging your self-worth over whether or not someone else feels like you've met their needs. And that is how you overcome people pleasing. Okay. I have a few past podcast episodes that I kind of want to drop here so you can go back and listen to them. This was some pretty heavy stuff. I'm going to keep this episode short and sweet because I want you to actually do the work. I want you to download the worksheet and I want you to start to pay attention in your life where you're bending over backwards to make other people happy. And in doing so, you're neglecting yourself. So that's the work. Some past episodes, I went back in time and I found episode 25, Caring for the Caregiver. Episode 26, Stop Delaying Happiness. You deserve to be happy right here and right now. Happiness is not a destination. It's a path. It's a journey. It's not something you achieve once and then you never achieve it again. Nope. Happiness is right here, right now, and I don't want you to stop delaying it. So that's 26. 37, how to find your purpose. If you don't know who you are and what makes you tick and you don't have hobbies, take a listen to this episode and start thinking about how you would define yourself, how you would write your obituary, how you want people to remember you. 56, waiting to be saved. And this isn't a waiting to be saved in kind of like a religious standpoint of heaven or hell. No, that's a different podcast for a different day. This is more thinking that someone is going to swoop in, a fairy godmother, Prince Charming, a knight in shining armor, someone who's going to alleviate all feelings of inadequacy or uncomfortableness. And that's just not real. Real life has ups and downs on all arounds. You're a real person. You are not a spreadsheet. And you can absolutely do the hard work and no one needs to save you. And then the last one that I'm going to drop in for today is 57. And I called that Protect Your Energy. And in that, I introduce kind of a metaphor of, or maybe it's a simile. Is it a simile or a metaphor? I don't know. I think it's a metaphor because what I'm saying is you are the nucleus. You are the center, and I want you to protect it. And all of the things surrounding you, those outer rings, these variables that you can't control, your children, your spouse, the people at work, all of these different things, your extended family, your parents, your siblings, they're all outside of your circle of control. And you are in the middle. You are the nucleus, and you deserve to be protected and cherished. Okay, pretty people, wherever you are, I think you're wonderful. I'm proud of you. Thank you for being here, and I will talk to you again next week. Do you have a slow living story to share? Leave me a voicemail at stephanieodea.com/podcast with any questions, comments, feedback, or testimonials, and I will be sure to include it in an upcoming episode. Also, if you found value in this episode, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. The more you share, comment, and leave positive reviews, the more people we can reach and share the slow living lifestyle and messaging. Thank you, Slow Down Society, and have an absolutely wonderful day.